Hey guys, hopefully from last week you remember that atoms are the building block of matter and matter makes up everything, okay? So I have drawn out an atom of boron, which has some subatomic particles. And hopefully you remember that there are 3 subatomic particles, okay? And those 3 subatomic particles are protons, neutrons, and electrons. So if I was going to model the size of protons, neutrons, and electrons, protons would be about this big, and you might see like a little plus sign, or I have colored my protons red, so I can put little plus signs in here too just to make sure that I remember. And there are 5 protons in boron, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes how you find out how many protons are in boron and electrons and neutrons, okay? Neutrons are again about the same size as protons. And remember, protons are positive. Neutrons have no charge, or you might hear that they're called neutral. So they're pretty similar. You might see that there's just a blank, or you might see that there's a little 0 in there. That just tells you that it has 0 charge or no charge. So let me put my zeros in my green color up here in boron. And electrons, again, this is a model. Electrons are much, much, much smaller. So that would be my electron. And they are outside in the electron cloud, and they are negative. So you can see that little minus sign, and I could put little minus signs in each one of these, which is kind of hard to see because they're darker blue, but it's negative. Okay? So most of the mass of any atom comes from the protons and the neutrons. The electrons just help even out or make an atom negative or positive, okay? We're going to talk about elements in the element tile, and I'll show you in a second what an element tile is, but that's mostly where they're going to be even. So you want the same number of protons as the same number of electrons. Okay, so hopefully that was all review for you. This is what the atomic structure is. Hopefully that was review again. But let's talk about the new information, okay? New information is this element tile, all right? And the element tile, I'm going to use different colors so that we know. So you're going to see different colors. The element tile has 4 separate parts. 4 separate parts, okay? So the first part is the atomic number. All right, and it's this 6 right here. The atomic number every time will always be a whole number. It's the atomic number, okay? Then you have a chemical symbol. So the chemical symbol for carbon is this big C, chemical symbol, right? It's this big C right here. Sometimes you'll see chemical symbols that are 2 letters, and if that happens, then the first letter is always capitalized, the second letter is always lowercase. And when we do our examples, you will see some of those, and I'll make sure to point those out so that you know. All right? Our next piece of the element tile is pretty simple to remember. It is the element name. And so it tells us what we would call the element. So that's carbon. All right? So we have the atomic number 6, we have the chemical symbol C, and we have carbon as the element name. And last but not least, on the element tile, you are shown this big long number, 12.011. That is the atomic mass. So what they do is they take the mass of all the different types of carbon atoms. So remember I told you that you could have more than one type of carbon atom, all right? They're all going to have the same number of protons, but they might have a different number of electrons or a different number of neutrons. and it changes what the mass of that atom is, okay? So the atomic mass, you just take all of those different things, they're called isotopes. You take all of those different isotopes and you average them, or you find the mean using those math words of what those isotopes of carbon are, and that's how you get this number right here. So what we need to do, the first thing that we always do when we see an element tile, so I'm going to put a big number 1, is we need to round to the whole number. Okay? So we need to round this number to the whole number. How we do that is I'm going to underline where my ones place is and draw my arrow to the one next to it, and that's a 0. So if it's from 0 anywhere up to 0.49, that means we're going to round down. If it's a 0.5 or above, then we're going to round up. So make sure you're using those math skills that you should know. So the atomic mass that we're going to use in this is 12, okay? That is our atomic mass. And I'm even going to put a little star next to it. And at the bottom of my page, I'm going to write, always round the atomic mass. Sometimes you'll see an element tile, because element tiles, you can see them in a lot of different ways. And on Wednesday, Ms. Wyndham's going to show you the different types of element tiles on the periodic table, but you always round it. Sometimes you'll see it already rounded. Sometimes you'll see it in a different place. You just need to remember, you always round this number, and the higher number on the element tile is your atomic mass, okay? So, how you can find the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons just from this element tile, you just need to remember 2 simple words. You ready? And this is why the APE is at the top of your page. You need to remember APE MAN, okay? So, the A stands for atomic number. So, the atomic number of carbon is 6. The P in APE MAN stands for proton number. Okay? And the E stands for electron number. So now that I've filled those in, APE MAN, so just APE for right now, A equals P equals E. So if I know the atomic number is 6, I know that there are 6 protons, and that's how I can write protons really easily. Just a little P with a plus sign on top of it means protons, and there are 6 electrons, okay? So 6 equals 6 equals 6. That's how you can find the number of protons and electrons from the atomic number. Now let's look at man. It's a little bit different. So the M of man stands for the atomic mass. All right, so the atomic mass. And the A again stands for the atomic number. So I know that the atomic number is 6. I know that we brought and got the atomic mass is 12. And what it's going to tell me is the number of neutrons. Okay? So what I have to do, like it shows you here, I need to take 12 minus 6 to get me the number of neutrons. So if I remember my normal, sorry, I'm not showing you what I'm doing. 12 minus 6 is 6 neutrons. And we showed that with a little n and an O or a 0 at the top. Okay? So just from the element tile and remembering man, APE man, you were able to find the number of protons, the number of electrons, and the number of neutrons. Okay? So remember, for APE, A equals P equals E. And for man, it's M minus A will give you the number of neutrons. Okay? So now that we remember this, let's do some practice. All right, are you ready for some practice so that we can actually see these things? So we have 3 things to practice with. Let me pull this up a little bit so you can see them all 3 of them. Okay. And I even gave you a little space down here to work it out, and I'll show my work down there too. Okay? So you're going tomorrow to have to practice with this more, but right now, let's just do some together, and then that way you can always go back and check on them, okay? All right, so we have our atomic number. And sometimes you'll see it as a little hashtag sign or the number sign, okay? And if I look down here, that's one of the things that I need to know. So I can take this 10 and move it down here to 10, okay? I have my chemical symbol. Notice this one has 2 letters on it, so it's big N, little e. You should not write big N, big E. That's bad, okay? It's big N, little e. Then we have our element name. And last but not least is our our atomic mass, not chemical mass. Sorry, guys. And hopefully you're thinking right now, uh-oh, that's not a whole number, so we need to change this to a whole number. That's our number 1 thing. Number 1. So underline the ones place, draw an arrow to the one to the right. It's less than 5, so I need to round down, okay? Round down to 20. So that means I can move the atomic mass right here down to 20. So now we need to think about APE man. So if I remember, A equals P equals E for APE. So the atomic number, what did we say? It was 10, which means that our number of protons is also going to be 10, and I can put it there and here. And our number of electrons is going to be 10. So make sure you're writing the electrons and the protons. Now let's talk about man. M-A-N. So our mass was 20 minus our atomic number is 10. And that's going to give us our number of neutrons. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 2 minus 1 is 1. So that is going to give us our number of neutrons is 10 again. So the last 2 ones, all of these have equaled out. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it's going to be a little bit different. So this time, I'm not going to use as many colors, but you're going to do nickel. So if you want to try this one on your own, pause for a second, and then come back and we can go over it all together. Okay? So hopefully you paused. So now let's do these all together. All right. I know my smaller top number is my atomic number. So my atomic number of nickel is 28. All right. I remember APE. So my atomic number is 28. which means my number of protons is going to be 28 and my number of electrons is going to be 28. So I need to find where it says number of protons and write that down, and number of electrons and write that down. Make sure you're looking at what it says, okay? All right, so we have filled out 3 out of the 5 things. Woo, we're doing great. All right, now we need to find the atomic mass. Hopefully in your brain, you're remembering, oh, I should have rounded. So you got to round, okay? And this one, remember, ones place, draw an arrow to the one on the right. This one is more than 5. So this time we have to round up. All right, and we're going to round up to 59. That is our atomic mass, 59. Okay? So now we're going to use the man portion of APE Man. So our mass is 59. Our atomic number is 28. Now we got to find our number of neutrons. So 9 minus 8 is 1. 5 minus 2 is 3. The number of neutrons is 3. Not 3. Number of neutrons is 31. All right, let's do it one more time. Hopefully you're starting to get it down pat. You probably could do this one by yourself, but let's do it all together one last time. Okay, so I'm going to circle my atomic number. It is 74. I remember 8. So that means A equals P equals E. So 74 equals 74, which equals 74. All right? They all equal each other. So if I gave you the number of electrons down here, you should be able to find the number of protons and the number of the atomic number. You can go backwards in this one too. All right? You might be asked to do that a few times. Now we're trying to find the atomic mass. I'm going to box this one in. But I know I need to round. All right? And if I look at my ones place, I'm going to round a whole number. So I need to look at my ones place, and I'm going to draw my arrow over to the right. And this is more than 5, so I need to round up. Okay? So I'm going to round up to 184. So my atomic mass is 184. But that's not the end, because we need to do man. So we've done ape, now we need to do man. Our mass is 184. Our atomic number was 74. So now we need to find our number of neutrons. So 4 minus 4 is 0. 8 minus 7 is 1. 1 minus 0 is 1. So we have 110 neutrons. 110 neutrons. Okay? So remember, APE Man will help you out every time. As you work and go along, you need to come back to this if you're confused or if you have questions. You need to just come back to this and it will help you get through. Don't forget, you might have to go backwards, and if I give you the number of neutrons and protons, I might ask you what the atomic mass is. So you would just add these two together to find the atomic mass. Okay, guys, good luck. Remember, you have practice with this tomorrow.